There are 2 of our counties, too, where people need to put those hurricane shelters up.
I know you've had a few extra minutes to kind of comb through that 5 o'clock update. Is there anything, significant that stands out at this point?
Well, the one thing that stands out is the fact that it's starting to turn towards the northeast direction, meaning towards the west coast of Florida. So that was the latest change with the 5 a.m. advisory. Before that, it was still moving due east, but now seeing more of that northerly factor. So east-northeast at 12 miles per hour, which also puts it at a faster rate. And so that is expected. And also Milton will probably speed up a little bit more. Now, the landfall, that is, will happen late Wednesday night along the west coast of Florida, somewhere over Tampa or even Sarasota area. When it comes to the watches, we're under watches and warnings. And in fact, Okeechobee has not only a hurricane watch, but a tropical storm warning. Indian River County hurricane watch in the yellow from St. Lucie County down through the rest of southeast Florida under a tropical storm watch. So here's what you need to do. If you're in Indian River County and Okeechobee, put up your shutters since you're under that hurricane watch. And everybody else, if you have very loose items out there, secure it or bring it inside. And of course, everybody review your plans.
All right, Jen, thank you so much.
Still ahead this morning, hurricane preps well underway in northern counties of our viewing area. We're zeroing in on Okeechobee. Jen just mentioned about their hurricane shutters there, from sandbags to shelters to everything you need to know to stay safe.
All right, everyone, we want to welcome you back here as we continue to track Milton this morning. And you can kind of see, Jennifer has been flipping through maps, showing just different things. It's the storm surge that's still a huge, huge threat.
Especially for the west coast of our state, where it projected 11, anywhere to 15 feet. Jen, we also know the 5 a.m. advisory, one of the major updates we get at 5 a.m. came out, 15-20 minutes ago. What are the big takeaways?
So 2 of the big takeaways is that it's starting to turn towards that northeast direction. So now the direction has changed from an easterly movement to an east-northeast, and also it's accelerating now, moving at 12 miles per hour. I'll get to the storm surge in just a second, but just want to show you rainfall totals the next few days are going to be the highest right near landfall. Most of the rain looks like it's going to be on the northern side of the center as it cuts across Florida. So Tampa, Sarasota, up through Orlando, even Daytona Beach under that swath of very heavy rainfall. I'm going to zoom in a little closer to us, but up to 15 inches possible in those areas. For us, since we're going to have some breaks in between the rain bands, might not pick up quite as much, certainly not that amount, but in general, 2 to 4 inches for Indian River County down into Okeechobee County, then a little less through Palm Beaches and into Miami-Dade. But because of today's rain over the Keys and the next few days, the Keys could actually pick up around 4 to 7. Now the storm surge, huge impact for the west coast of Florida. And, on the east coast of Florida can also have storm surge at around 3 to 5 feet. But let's take a look here. You're talking about 10 to 15 foot storm surge between Tampa down along the coast over Port Charlotte, Fort Myers, 6 to 10 foot storm surge. That is significant too. And then 4 to 7 down through the Collier County coast there. And that includes, of course, Naples, Marco Island, and Everglades City. And then further down south, the Keys, 1 to 3 foot storm surge. So much of the west coast is going to be dealing with certainly life-threatening storm surge. And again, that flood threat, I talked about how up to 15 inches of rainfall could fall between Tampa, Orlando, and even in the Space Coast. Well, there you see in the pink, the circle here, that is a high risk for flooding. And so flash floods are expected, some more so in these areas. But if we zoom in closely, we have our own threat too, between moderate and slight and marginal being the lowest threat for flash flooding. But there you go, parts of St. Lucie County, Martin County, northwestern Palm Beach County, and the lake under that slight risk for isolated flash flooding. More scattered flash flooding, though, expected across the northern parts of Okeechobee, Indian River County. So if you do live in a flood zone and you're in Okeechobee County, Indian River County, and maybe you're thinking about evacuating, you still have time to do that today. I do believe later today, most of the shelters will start to open up. And then tomorrow, you still have time, but in the morning to wrap up all those preparations. All right, I'm going to send it off to Francis. Francis, you're taking a look at our radar. How's it looking out there this morning?
You know, we do have a few spotty showers out there early this morning. Everything that we're seeing is currently light, currently near Sebastian down into Vero, and seeing a few spotty pockets near Fort Pierce, but mainly along the coastline. Outside of that, a lot of the rain Jennifer mentioned remains towards the south of us throughout Miami-Dade County and as well as the Keys. But let's talk about what we should expect just for today. We're going to expect to see some scattered showers and also deal with the threat of storms. Temperature-wise, it's still going to be a bit toasty out there with those temperatures reaching into the middle 80s with a lot of humidity in play. But let's go through your Vipercast together for today. So as you can see, the morning time frame fairly isolated. Things will start to pick up as we get into the afternoon, looking at more widespread rain and as well as the threat of dealing with storms. And then as we get into your Wednesday, this is going to be one of your impact days from Milton. Check this out. A lot of good rainfall moves across the area Wednesday morning and continues into the afternoon and evening time frame. And then check out these winds. Today, just a touch on the breezier side, but winds will truly pick up starting tomorrow afternoon. We're going to stop this Wednesday morning. Wind gusts around 20 miles per hour, but we're going to see your wind gusts near about 40 miles per hour by Wednesday afternoon. In some areas dealing with stronger wind gusts near about even 60 to even 70 miles per hour. So we'll keep a close eye on Milton over the coming days. We're looking at some drier air moving into the region come on Friday.